some peace of mind. But TikTok said a gator drove a Jeep through the blinds.
We don't need that. We just got back. Hopefully, I am not as choppy this time. Otherwise, it looks like there might be an issue with my internet. So we'll try this. And if it continues to screw up, I did just get an alert that my internet is, well, doing whatever internet does, because hell if I know. That being said, you know, like I said, I didn't watch any of her shows or anything like that. Sorry, I'm a bit flustered. I'm glad this didn't happen when I first started, but I'm still not the technological goddess that you have come to, well, not trust. That being said, I hope her family and all of her fans are getting the support they need. You know, we are losing a lot of our kind of foundational actors. Michael Keaton is looking older, and I need to stop watching Mr. Mom, but it's my favorite. Look, if y'all are ever having a bad day, I am going to make a movie recommendation. Multiplicity with Michael Keaton is probably the funniest flippin' movie you can watch, and it's, for the most part, family friendly. So definitely a must-watch movie. If if you're having a bad day, but you can still watch it and your kids will kind of not really get it, but it's smart and funny. In very sad news, a creator who had kind of been giving her journey, excuse me, with leukemia has passed away. But she was part of the content creation group Glow House. And unfortunately, your body can only take so much. Influencer Zuza Benet has passed away at 14. Now, the news of her death comes after she had been open online with her journey with acute myeloid leukemia. Now, according to her Instagram bio, Benny was a 5-time survivor of the disease and had received 3 bone marrow transplants. Now, a member of the content creation group for young creators known as Glow House, the young influencer was open online with her diagnosis, sharing her journey with her 1.8 million Instagram followers and 1.7 million TikTok followers. Now, in a post to her Instagram on Tuesday, September 23rd, members of her family did confirm her passing with writing, "It is with broken hearts that we share that Sousa passed away this morning. Her being changed us forever, and her dying will too. It is no coincidence to us that the last video she made captures what she was grateful for, a testament to a life lived with both beauty and suffering." Now, a video posted to her account just 2 days before the announcement, she took time to share the things that cancer had taught her to be grateful for. Be grateful for the little things, the caption read. In the video, the teen shared some of the things she was most grateful for in the wake of her cancer diagnosis, including being able to taste the most delicious foods, being able to do different hairstyles. In her regular content on the page, she shared some of the things that the cancer had changed about her life, including her ability to taste food as a result of chemotherapy and the loss of her hair. She also took followers along when she was getting treatments and let the viewers, in on other typical teen stuff that was going on in her life. More than anything, she just wanted to be a normal, healthy kid. The caption announcing the young influencer's death read, but what made her life so beautiful is how she learned to face the hardest circumstances like her disease and still live fully. Now, on Saturday, September 20th, she shared a video montage update recapping her latest journey with treatment and cancer, but also the, 11 years then. And, if you've ever met anyone in the final stages of the cancer journey, it is just a fight to keep them comfortable and out of pain. And it's heartbreaking. It is so heartbreaking. So I hope that her family, all of her fans, are taking this moment to be there for each other, to be kind, and to pay forward this young lady's courageous bravery to live life to the fullest and be grateful for the small things, you know, as an example to all of us. I'm not crying, you're crying. But I really do hope that, maybe we just set a little time today and put down some things we're grateful for. Yeah, we all have struggles. We all have days where it just kind of overall not a great day. But we also have so many things to be grateful for. And however bad your day is, someone would pray to be as lucky as you are sometimes. Well, this douche, I mean, allegedly, suspected Gilgo Beach serial unaliver Rex Heuermann is back in court as the defense says they'll seek a change of venue. Now, sir, I don't know. You could go to Timbuktu. If the DNA matches, I don't know that you're going to be able to pull an O.J. Simpson if I had done it kind of thing. That being said, everything needs to follow due process. I want these families, if and when this goes to trial, to get real justice. So I have a story later where I think some people have taken, kind of euphemisms and taken them too damn far. But that's for Lord Chippy, okay? And glass houses. Don't judge. Suspected Gilgo Beach serial red rummer Rex Heuermann appeared before a judge for a status hearing Wednesday morning. Now Heuermann, a 61-year-old architect from Massapequa, is charged in 6 murders. He glanced once in the courtroom Wednesday. His estranged wife was not present. His hands were cuffed behind his gray suit. Now, 4 of the victims in the case had their bodies disposed of near Gilgo Beach, and 2 were murdered as far back as 2003 and 1993. Each of them was involved in sex work. Now, I understand that I actually do like that was the past thing, because the one thing that grinds my gears more than anything about this case is that every time the victims are mentioned, it's always Smex worker. No editors, they were people. I really don't give a rat's rah-rah what they were doing. Yes, I understand that they were in an incredibly dangerous profession, if one can call that. Anywho, I get that. But I'm a mom first. I'm a sister first. I'm a person first. So how about we just, respect these victims as people and maybe not, get caught up in what they were doing as a way to, again, kind of shame them. No one, I don't care what you do, deserves to have what happened to them happen to them. And I am pulling up the chat so I can see who got gifted a membership, because today is awesome. And thank you, King Bob, for gifting a membership, and that went to Jason J. Oh my goodness. If you are a mix of personality between Chaos Demon and 2 Type A to function, you end up organizing things and then not remembering where the hell you put things in organization. So thank you so much. Oh, goodness. Am I frozen? Looks like I'm... Oh, okay, no, it was me writing. Don't watch me with a me. It's Mo, oh gosh, Inception of Mo. That is a terrible idea. Y'all are going to have to bear with me. This has been not a great week with all the rain, so I am exceptionally squirrely today. So, we will go ahead as we go ahead. Well, Alice, I actually had to start a whole new stream, so you kind of just missed Choppy Mo. Oh, and that reminds me, I do need to... Oh... Remind you guys, yes, that's right. Megan said no Tim's case today. She is taking the day off. So once I am done with Mornings with Mo, I won't see you again until tonight with the Brian Koberger stuff. So going to take Mr. Mo out to lunch because he had to deal with the unintentional science project that my middle son was growing in his room. I didn't know that dishes could grow both penicillin, botulism, and I think possibly anthrax. I don't know. But he's a scotch traumatized. So I'm taking him out to lunch, and we're going to Hobby Lobby, which is more for me than him. But he's like, we get to go outside. This is what happens when an inside cat marries an outside cat. Because I'm like, he's like, you want to do something? I was like, well, I have errands to run. And he's like, we get to go outside. He keeps wandering in and out, like, we get to go outside today? My poor husband has to deal with all of my inside cat things, so I am taking him out today. I need to walk him on a regular basis. Now, back to the Heuermann article after I squirreled out. Now, prosecutors allege that Heuermann is linked to the murders through DNA, a burner phone, and a description of his truck, along with internet searches and what they call a blueprint for how to get away with murder. Now, there will be a hearing this coming spring with the defense challenging the new nuclear DNA called SNP by prosecutors, which they say links victims' hairs to Heuermann. Now, the defense called it outside labs' methods of genetic testing unproven and magic. It's a scientific issue. The judge is going to have to decide. We say absolutely not. Obviously, the district attorney has a different opinion, said defense attorney Michael Brown. Now, the judge set the next court date as December 17th, and he wants to set a trial date at that time. Now, one of the things they discussed was how quickly the defense can get all of the raw data from Heuermann's 400 seized electronic devices. Who has 400? Did he keep his Casio speak and spell? What the hell, man? Also, if you got a Nokia phone, I've got some boys that don't need tablets, just need a Nokia brick. You could have hurled that thing off of the Empire State Building and it wouldn't break. Believe me, because I tried. Mom, you were right. I did try to destroy my phone when, they were coming out with newer fun phones with texting. You cannot destroy that. You will chip linoleum before you chip a Nokia phone. One of them old phones. If you're from 2002, you know what I'm talking about. Now, so it does seem like he had an extraordinary amount, 120 terabytes. Now, District Attorney Ray Tierney said his funds are running low. In 2020, before he was in office, the feds froze $13 million in county forfeiture money due to investigation into the funds. So I will go to the Department of Justice once again, hand in hand, and I will beg them, please give us money so I can litigate this very significant serial unaliver case. Given the ridiculous nature of our discovery laws, where I have to provide every single piece of paper that was generated in a case that started in 1993, that's what we've got to do, okay? Now, Tierney said the investigation into other murders is ongoing on several different fronts, and there could be further indictments as the number of victims linked to Heuermann has grown from 4 to 6. Very important for us is to sever the 5th and 6th victims in the indictment from the first 4, meaning to try those separate and apart, Brown said. Now, Heuermann's attorney said his client is looking forward to his day in court and will be pursuing a change of venue. We talked about change of venue. We're going to look into that. We have been looking into that, whether we can find a fair or impartial, jury here in Suffolk County, Brown said. Where I would hope to be, the trial itself, Mars. I don't know. Now, the defense claims that any jury pool in Suffolk has already been poisoned. Heuermann remains in isolation due to his notoriety. Now, he has pled not guilty to all the charges of the death of the six women between 1993 and 2011. Now, the remains of 11 people were discovered around Gilgo Beach during that period, and investigators have hinted that he might be linked to the other bodies. Heuermann was initially arrested on July 14th, 2023, and charged with the murders of Melissa Bartholomé, Megan Waterman, and April Costello. Then new charges were filed in January in the death of Maureen Brainard Barnes, and he was indicted on additional charges in June in the 1993 killing of Sandra Castilla and the 2003 killing of Jessica Taylor. Now, Castilla was not previously tied to the Gilgo case. Last month, Gilgo Beach Task Force released new renderings of another possible victim whose body was found between Waterman and Taylor along Ocean Parkway in 2011. Now, investigators have also hinted at quote unquote a blueprint they said that Heuermann used to plan out his, well, red rums in excruciating detail. So that is moving ahead. I do foresee this being a major case. It is one that I kind of want to look into, but I also like to go into a trial with about as much knowledge as the jury would have. But this is very interesting. And, you know, I do believe that he probably has more victims than what he's been tied to now, but time will tell, and the defense has every right to question the science that the state used. If it's good for the Karen Read case, it's good for this case. It requires that the state, you know, have the evidence. In an update on a story that I covered yesterday, it does look like a cause of death was found for the two hunters, and that I told you about yesterday. Colorado lightning strike took the lives of two elk hunters caught in a horrific act of nature. Lightning strikes in Colorado earlier this month has been determined to be the cause of the death of two elk hunters that were caught in the storms. Andrew Porter and Ian Satsko, both 25, had been hunting in the Rio Grande National Forest in southern Colorado on the week of September 11th when they stopped making contact. Now, after extensive search and rescue operations, crews came upon the bodies later that week. Bridget Murphy, Porter's fiancee, confirmed their cause of death on social media this week, writing that he was an experienced outdoorsman who was in the wrong place at the wrong time. It's official. That lightning strike near them took them out in an instant. They didn't do anything wrong. They didn't feel fear or pain, Murphy wrote. He was just trying to get back to the car as the storms rolled in on Friday, September 12th. It was out of everyone's hand. I'm so grateful we found them so they can be at peace. Now, a storm hit the area where Porter and Satsko were hunting and brought cold temperatures, strong winds, and lightnings. Lightning, not lightnings. The county coroner's office told media on Tuesday that he performed autopsies this week and found that lightning had struck the pair as they stood under a large tree. Now, authorities initially reported that their bodies had no clear signs of trauma and that determining their cause of death was going to be challenging. Now, the lightning only left a few slight burns on their bodies and likely caused them to not know any fear or pain, took them instantly. That kind of death, it's just instant. It's like you're alive and now you're not, he said, just that quick. Now, according to data from the National Weather Service, lightning causes 2 deaths and 12 injuries a year in Colorado. Murphy's Porter's fiancée described him as sensitive, strong, brave, and carefree. He was so kind, attentive to me and our dog, and he had so many dreams. He wanted to start a business, build our home, teach our kids to be maniac athletic, hunting, outdoors people, have a farm, and grow old with me. I sure feel like I'm a widow. I sure feel like my future is blank now. But what assures me is what they were doing, that what they loved without fear, well prepared and equipped. This is a bizarre, horrific act of nature. It could have happened anywhere to anyone. And ma'am, you are a widow. You don't need labels. You lost someone. You don't need labels to have grief. You don't need labels to feel just, heartbroken. I hope that his family, and especially her, take the time to heal and, just give herself grace with everything she is feeling right now. And I hope she has love and support and all the things I generally wish for people. Well, Must Miss TV is back. Disney is, well, continuing its unfunny late night comedy. But he won't, again, people are going to go on and on about the double standard. I wasn't really going to read the article, but I don't understand. You know what is funny is if you put reruns of American Gladiator on at that time, they would outdo Jimmy Kimmel. You know what, ABC, take me up on my offer. I bet you if you put reruns of American Gladiator on in place of Jimmy Kimmel, they would get higher ratings. Also, PS, just bring back American Gladiator. I think I've articulated my point very, well, that people don't want to listen to all the craziness outside and listen to all the news. We want to see people, get, well, shot with tennis balls from a cannon by a guy named Laser in Lycra. Yeah, I mean, if you like him, you like him. I don't find him that funny, but again, I like, oh gosh, who was the guy that I love? Gallagher. I also love George Carlin, so, and Jimmy Carr. So it is what it is. I just would rather watch American Gladiators. So I'm starting a petition. Return American Gladiators. Now, Final Form Jesus is actually going to be about 4 stories today. We got a lot. And thank you, King Bob, for your gifting a membership to John Naylor. Congratulations. Welcome to the Church of Mo. We have dark chocolate, sarcasm, and humor. Hope you like it. And true crime. So let's get into the stories that'll make you go, do what now? I choose to put them in Final Form Jesus because sometimes you do wonder.
The key keep its grove, thou gloaming shrine of thirst traps, scams, and dollar signs. We chant in tones both grim and low, for virtue fled a long time ago. Kyrie eleison, Christe descendat, Final Form Jesus return in wrath. With six-pack glistening, sword in hand, he cometh swift to cleanse the land.
She's back. Y'all, I have done the continuing updates on this woman, and let me first say that she was probably an excellent judge before she became 98, okay? But she is 98 and refusing to take any sort of cognitive test, okay? A severe constitutional injustice. The oldest federal judge refuses to go away quietly after being shelved yet again, urging a full DC circuit to hear her out on her suspension. I mean, the nation's oldest sitting federal judge, 98-year-old Pauline Newman, who was suspended in 2024 amid complaints about her mental health, is not backing down after being shelved for another year for refusing to undergo neuropsychological testing. Her legal team filed a petition last week for a rehearing en blanc, urging the full U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit to reconsider the merits of her case and ongoing illegal suspension. Ma'am, if your clerks are saying you're doing not a great job, no. Just no. Judge Newman's long-term suspension threatens judicial independence. Ma'am, because you were there at the Independence Day signing. We appreciate you signing habeas corpus, but we've moved on. And it's, what, don't you want to retire and hang out with your family or your cats? Or just, go see beautiful sights? You've had a long, fulfilling life. Honor that with taking just some time to just be. Or continue fighting in the courts. Now, the New Civil Liberties Alliance has taken up her cause in the petition, which was filed Friday following Newman's second sidelining late last month. both to resolve the question of exceptional importance and to hear the and to maintain uniformity of the court's decision, this court should rehear this case fully. In the light of the length of time that has already elapsed in Judge Newman's advanced age, Judge Newman respectfully requests the consideration of this petition be expedited to the maximum extent possible. No. No, we saw what happened to Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and like her or lump her, she had an extraordinary career and she did a lot. Again, like her or lump her, she did a lot. And, but she was not functional at the end. I don't get this. I don't get this wanting to stay at this until you basically are being rolled in semi-conscious. I don't get it. That being said, who am I to judge? Yeah, I don't do this not judgy thing well. Gonna have to work on that before the rapture. Now, the Federal Circuit panel previously dismissed Newman and the NCLA's lawsuit against her suspension on jurisdictional grounds based on its interpretation of the council's 2001 ruling in McBride versus Committee to Review Circuit Council Conduct Disability Orders of the U.S. Judicial Conference. That's a lot. Now, they argued that the panel opined that McBride was probably wrongly decided, but all invited a petition for rehearing. Again, go home, be with your family. Now, the committee is still ultimately recommending that, she be suspended unless she takes the required neuropsychological exams. So this is going to go into court. This is probably going to be held up. Again, ma'am, I don't know your career. I respect your long service, but take some time to just enjoy, I guess. Now, I have some questions, and I'm sure you do too. Like, what is soft swinging? Get those? I mean, we might need some holy water super soakers after this one. The new Bachelorette has been open about soft swinging, and what does that mean? I have no idea. I'm hoping this is like a monkey bars thing. Taylor Frankie Paul has gone from a soft swinging scandal to the new face of The Bachelorette, and it begs the question, does this mean society's views on swinging are changing? No, it just means that the people that will go on a reality show to be degenerate are people. No. No. This is gross. Why would you admit this? You have children. Again, I don't care what you do with your private life, but how about try not to scar your children, with putting it out in public? So I don't think society has gotten more equipped or more happy about this. I just think the type of people that are okay doing these kind of things and okay talking about it and putting it on the, internet and world to go viral are okay putting themselves everywhere. Now, if you want to date a person that, thinks it's okay to date other people and y'all are cool with that, it's none of my business. I might have some questions, like, do you wipe yourself off with Purell or Lysol? Or do you just run them over with a black light? Probably those questions, a lot snarky, not gonna lie. But you have children. So I'm not even gonna read further because I don't want to give this heifer any more fodder for people to make fun of her children. Again, whatever you decide to do in your own, behind the doors kind of scene is fine, unless it affects everyone around you. And then it's being selfish and a bit of a dick. Oh, Lord. My stories. Well, plot twist. It looks like that CEO and staffer are reportedly not having an affair. Cause, okay, y'all. Now I'm gonna blow up this picture a little bit here. I don't have male friends that I do this with while swaying at a Coldplay concert. Now, maybe other people are more touchy-feely, but I'm sorry. This is I call BS to the express, okay? That's just me. Maybe other people hug and hold their friends, swaying backwards at the boobular level with his hand directly on your boobs and you holding his hand. Maybe that's a totally normal friendship thing. In July, the world went. Yeah, in July, the world went wild after Chris Martin seemingly, well, exposed an affair between former astronomer CEO Andy Byron and his chief people officer. The jokes just write themselves, Kristen Cabot. Now, the two were seen, wrapped in each other's arms at a Coldplay concert despite being married to other people. Now, sources claim that the two were never actually having an affair. They have an excellent working relationship. Yeah, no, if Mr. Moe went and did this to one of his fellow soldiers, female or male, I'd be a little I'd have a question. No. No. There was no affair, a source told me. A source that didn't want their name given out. Did they call and put on an accent? They're like, hey, y'all, this is a close friend of Kristen. Yeah, Kristen. And that they weren't even having an affair. They are, work husband and wife. And like when you're with your work husband at a Coldplay concert and it's really a slow dance, you get those middle school sway back and forth vibes, and your husband isn't there, so your work husband is. People, the source continued, it's important to note how inappropriately mislabeled Kristen has been as a homewrecker. It's unfathomable to witness what happened. Now, again, this is a private destruction of two families. Do I think that everyone should have made them a meme? Probably not. Is it, if you take a 50,000-foot view of this, kind of a bit heartbreaking that two families are now going through turmoil because it looks very much so like they are more than work wife and husband, that trust between spouses have been lost. Yeah, but then to go out and I no, again, that was, I'm not a body expertologist, but again, if Mr. Moe caught me doing this thing near my boobular region with a friend, there would be a whole hell of a lot of questions. So I'm sorry, but this does not look like a secret handshake hug or, no, I'm sorry. To use an Appalachianism, don't piss on my head and call it rain, okay? Well, considering the internet is being, oh, so on my agenda today, as Mr. Moe will probably not let me watch this on the big screen, will be, will be, see, yeah, yep. I will be watching this new documentary that is supposedly going to be talking all about the BTK killer. Now, I kind of have a very tangential personal link to the BTK case. My mom is from Kansas, and she lived there with all of her siblings. And then my aunt lived in Wichita when BTK was very, very active. And I remember, well, they remembered, kind of the stuff that they would do, kind of everyone being terrified and things like that. So it is something I will be watching. A new serial killer documentary is coming to Netflix, but this time it's not focusing on one of America's most notorious murderers, but rather oh, is she out there again doing this? Never mind, I refuse to watch this. Look, ma'am. Okay, this woman has made a cottage industry out of being BTK's daughter, and I feel kind of icky about that. I do. I feel, again, she has her own trauma. Again, I can't imagine the entire world upheaval, that happens when your dad is found out to be a monster. I am not negating that. It does seem like she's ridden this wave to personal fame, and I don't know how I feel about that when the Otero family was destroyed. Destroyed. The children that survived that were destroyed. It affected their entire life's journey, and her kind of painting herself with the victim brush, again, just in my personal opinion, and I don't require you guys to share it, it's a little ick. Now, the new documentary is titled My Father, the BTK Killer. The other reason I won't be watching it is I know I can't be unbiased. I know that my personal discomfort with kind of her fame and her continuing to put this out would bother me and would affect and I don't want to give an unfair review. That's not my place. So I know I wouldn't be fair with it. So I don't want to, review it for you guys and then, basically just be a butthole, spewing my hot takes on the internet rather than giving you guys an honest review. Although, to be fair, I might watch it today, but I might not review it. Now, again, like I said, I'm probably not going to be but I'm not going to give it a terrible review. Now, we have got just so many for Lord Chippy today, and one that we really need to name and shame because I don't think he understands that while we sometimes joke about, things, it doesn't mean that we co-sign idiocracy in our names. Or, I don't know him, but just no. On humanity's sake, we say no.
They're our skin, they steal our grace. These monsters wear a human face. No gavel, no badge, no throne, no crown can stop Lord Chippy from burning them down. Justice ain't fast, justice ain't clean. It's a long, sharp road through the in-between. So raise your fists and light your flames. Chippy's coming and he don't play games.
Now, I don't know, again, beyond the damn obvious, what the heck has gotten into young people? But this is horrifying. An elderly Kansas City worker, 66, was ruthlessly attacked by a teen who was asked to change seats during an NBA YoungBoy concert. He was so enraged. An elderly worker was thrown to the ground and ruthlessly attacked by a teen during an NBA YoungBoy gig as concertgoers watched the disturbing assault unfold in front of them. Now, Thomas Schlang, 66, was working the rap concert at T-Mobile Center in Kansas City Sunday night when he asked the teen to move because he wasn't sitting in his assigned seat, according to local Fox affiliate Fox 4 News. Now, fan-recorded footage shows the teen throw, Thomas to the ground, into the row of seats and then unleash a barrage of punches into the arena worker. Now, Thomas says he doesn't remember much of the assault, only the teen's rage and needing to get away safely. I mean, it's serious. I went down, I had blows to my head, Thomas told the news. He was so enraged, so we were just, in essence, trying to protect the other fans. Snake Island. Snake Island yesterday. The disoriented usher then tried to get to his feet, but the teen stood over him. Thomas raised an arm to defend himself, but the teen repeatedly slapped it aside. The teen then angrily delivered a series of punches to his head before a Good Samaritan stopped the attack. Police arrested the teen after the violent outburst on Sunday night, but he was later released to his parents. Do what now? I'm sorry. This was attempted red rum. Elderly people do not have strong bones. Elderly people do not recover from bone fractures. How many of you have known an elderly person in your life that fell down, broke a hip, and they went downhill very, very quickly? This is absolutely ridiculous. This is what is going to bring back, and I'm going on a rant today. This is what is going to bring back 3 strikes you're out, except we're moving it to 2 strikes. You think I'm playing the people that wanted, and I was one of them, smart, coherent, judicial reform, not sending kids away if they had a little ganja, not, throwing away the key on someone who maybe had a substance abuse issue. But this is the type of person that you expect us to have, basically like farcical levels of compassion for the perpetrator. No. So when legislation starts going back to 2 strikes you're out, it was stuff like this. And we warned you. I warned you. I don't want people to lose, their entire future because of a dumb mistake. But absolute violence needs to, for the safety of everyone else, he needs to be put away. I am sorry. Yes, he's young, but if he is young and he is doing this, then there's a problem. And the problem isn't everyone else's problem. He needs to be away where he can either learn self-control or be in a place where they take care of it. The jail takes care of him having an attitude, other prisoners, whatever. The rules, I am sorry, because I foresee this bringing back the 3 strikes you're out. And it seems like America can't do like a sensible middle plan, like a sensible thing. No, we swing from one pendulum to another. And then we're going to repeat the cycle because we forgot it. We are reliving the early 90s. So welcome to 3 strikes you're out when it comes back. Kansas City Police Department confirmed that the teen was under 16, and it is unclear what charges the juvenile might face. Now, Thomas was hospitalized with non-life-threatening injuries. 1, 2, 3. But he had already suffered glaucoma, and one of his eyes may suffer more damage. Now, this pisses me off even more because this happened to my mother-in-law who recently passed. She already had glaucoma. She had a fall and lost her, and lost a whole lot of her eyesight. And it was devastating to go from, maybe having blurry-ish vision to being in the dark was horrible. Yeah. Well, yeah. My daughter works at a nursery, which means she's constantly bringing home all of the new bugs, which is great. It is wonderful. I don't ask her to go wash off with Purell. So definitely, and his family has started a GoFundMe page to help with the medical costs. We are devastated for the injustice of this person and other attendees that didn't try to stop this at all, Thomas's grandson, Huber Lopez, said. Thomas said after nearly 2 decades on the job, he never imagined he would become a victim of a violent assault at work. The message is we as young adults are people growing into adulthood. We need to learn how to control our anger. Thomas is expected to meet with police on Friday as they continue their investigation. A spokesperson for the T-Mobile Center, Shani Tate Ross, told the outlet that the attack on the employee was horrific and unacceptable. This isolated incident does not reflect our venue, our city, or the thousands of guests of all ages who enjoyed the show without incident. Any violence of any kind is unacceptable at T-Mobile Center. Now, video of the assault has gone viral across social media and heightened public concern regarding youth violence and event safety. Kansas City Mayor Quentin Lucas' office condemned the violence and asked the public to share any information about violence assaults during the concert with the police. Well, this is ridiculous. Now, following the violence that broke out at the T-Mobile Center, the United Center in Chicago announced that it had canceled the NBA YoungBoy concert set to be held Wednesday evening. The venue did not provide specific reasons for canceling the show, but no other shows scheduled at the venue had been canceled. Now, the Baton Rouge rapper is currently on his tour, his first tour in 5 years. Again, I was wondering if he was a basketball player because it said NBA. Not my genre. Now, this ridiculous doofus, as someone who uses comedy to illustrate a point, but for humor, and would never advocate this in real life, you are an idiot. Justice, our country, only works when you wait for due process and you allow our system, as imperfect as it is, to work. If you want to change something, try changing legislation instead of doing this. Honestly, really fun. A vigilante posed as an accountant to red rum an offender and told police it should be cool because everyone dislikes files, if you will. Yes, everyone dislikes them. I have long advocated that they need their own community far, far away in Utah or Wyoming or some Greenland, and they can all be together and monitored. But I've never said red rum. No, I have said for the safety of the general community, they cannot be in polite society because it is not a predilection that changes. I would be and that would be something that probably wouldn't be even constitutional, but it is dreamatutional. A California man allegedly took the law into his own hands when he found a man on the registry when his home went to his home posing as an accountant and took his life. The Fremont Police Department said in a press release that officers received a 911 call shortly before noon. Now, here's the other point. For people who think this is like a really great idea, we've seen cases like Zachariah Anderson. We've seen cases like the Timms case that we are going through Georgia. Now, I am not saying that everyone on the registry, is innocent. I'm not. But I'm saying there might be cases like that. And you are not God either. I don't remember when we were upgraded to this. If it's just, I don't know. I don't agree with this. I think it's dumb. And no one should take, the satirical lordshipy in any way seriously. Because I always say due process. Now, that being said, my principles would be dearly, dearly tested, and I would be very dearly tested if this happened in my direct family. And then maybe I'd have a completely different perspective. Fremont Police Department said in a press release that officers received a 911 call shortly before noon on Thursday about a violent altercation between two people, one of whom was gravely injured. They then rushed to the scene to find the 71-year-old man on the ground, suffering from significant stab wounds. The man was pronounced no longer living at the scene. Now, officers located the suspect, Varun Shurish, 29, at the scene along with a knife. Now, he allegedly told investigators that he had specifically sought out offenders as potential victims and admitted to chasing down the victim as he ran away and taking his life in front of his home. Now, local Fox affiliate KTVU obtained a probable cause arrest affidavit and identified the victim as David Brimmer. Now, records showed that he was convicted in 1995 of lewd and lascivious acts with a child. He was released from prison in 2004. Yeah, 71-year-old. Now, Suresh reportedly told detectives after his arrest that he believes that offenders deserve to eat, and had wanted to take one out for years because they hurt children. He said that he had found, the information because of California's Megan's Law website, which is the Golden State's version of the registry. Now, the accused, Red Rummer, reportedly said that he pretended to be a CPA, even carrying a bag, notebook, and coffee to look the part, knocking on Brimmer's neighbor's door to appear legitimate. Then he went to Brimmer's door and he answered. Now, Suresh recognized Brimmer from his picture on the site, and once the victim confirmed his identity, he began to attack. Brimmer ran down the street to escape, but Suresh gave chase. He reportedly asked Brimmer if he believed in the good Lord, and told him he should get his last words in. Brimmer ran to the neighbor's house, frantically asking for someone to let him inside. The neighbor did let him inside, but Suresh allegedly pushed his way inside and continued to attack the victim. Now, Brimmer then ran back outside, collapsing on the front lawn. Suresh pinned Brimmer to the ground and continued to go to town. Now, Suresh said he wanted to make sure it was done. He reportedly said he expected to be arrested, but felt it should be cool because everyone hates files, and he said the ordeal was honestly really fun. This man's a sociopath. He picked, files, but he could have picked women with blonde hair, women with red hair, whatever, and he would have justified it no matter what. Evil in the name of good is not good. This cavalcade of ridiculous. Yes, he just bought himself a ticket to life in prison. Well, he'll be surrounded by more of these people. If he didn't want to be bothered by those types of people, he kind of picked the wrong place to spend the rest of his life. And one day he's going to be 71 in one of those places. A woman pulled out a lawn chair and sat down in a median after crashing a car with the body of her red-rummed ex inside, wrapped in a bloody bedding with her head sticking out. Yeah, at that point you're just caught, sweetheart. A Minnesota woman has been found guilty of murder in connection with a bizarre car accident in which two Good Samaritans stopped to assist her after she had crashed her sedan. While helping her out, the pair found a body of a woman in the back seat wrapped in bedding, a futon-like mattress, and a tarp with only her head visible, while the female suspect was sitting in a lawn chair on the median. What in the Florida is this, and this is in Minnesota? Oh, please tell me they streamed this trial. We need to see if they recorded this trial. Now, the deceased individual was Margaret Lewis's ex-girlfriend, Liara Tassi, 35, who had been fatally stabbed in the neck by Lewis, 33, before the 2024 crash had happened. Now, Law and Crime previously reported on this and said prosecutors in Hennepin County accused Lewis of stabbing Tassi while the two were inside her studio apartment in Minneapolis. A jury convicted Lewis on second-degree murder on Monday, finding aggravating factors in the case that will give the judge overseeing it the option of going beyond sentencing guidelines that were proposed for Lewis. Now, the court documented Lewis displaying unpredictable behavior that requires high observation while she's behind bars. Prosecutors reportedly said that during Lewis's trial, she stabbed Tassi, a well-known local DJ, in her bed and let her bleed out. They described the pair's relationship as both tense and painful. A former romantic partner of Tossie told police that the relationship Tossie had with Lewis was sordid and emotionally challenging. Now, the crash that ultimately uncovered what Lewis had done to her ex happened on June 22nd, 2024, on Interstate 90 near Highway 42 in Iota. Luis was driving Tossie's vehicle. In checking to see if anyone else was in the vehicle, a deceased individual was located in the back seat. Police said in a statement, the condition of the deceased was suspicious and immediately apparent that the death was not a result of this motor vehicle accident. Now, according to a criminal complaint reviewed by Law and Crime, tire tracks indicate to police that Lewis was traveling at a high rate of speed before the accident, and when they searched her vehicle, officers found the body of Tossie in suspicious condition. Well, yeah, I don't think you need Nancy Drew, the Hardy Boys and Nancy Grace to figure out something doesn't smell right here. I think the Scooby gang, even high on gummies, could have figured something is a little off here. They're like, it was a bit suspicious. There was a DB in the car. Now, she was positioned in the back seat so that her head was aimed toward the passenger seat and her feet toward the driver's seat. Now, Minneapolis police executed a search warrant of Tossie's home and found disturbing blood scenes that indicated violence, a bloody plastic and metal object found on the bed, and antifreeze and a small shovel in the home. A knife was also missing from the butcher block in the kitchen. Yeah, so very sad for the parents, family, and friend of Miss Tossie. But ever just put out a lawn chair and was like, well, I'm caught. I'm going to at least sit comfy while I wait for the police. That is 10 pounds of crazy in a 2-pound sack. May God and peace and the odds be ever in the favor of the guards that have to watch her. Although, if you put her in with Taylor Schabusiness, I would watch that cage match. Not gonna lie. I'm okay with this. A man who buried a mom of 2 in a crawl space when she packed a U-Haul to leave him, then lived above her for 10 days, will pay the ultimate price. Those are some high Manson lamps. You did this in Texas. You're not smart. A Texas man found guilty of murdering a woman who was trying to escape him was sentenced to the ultimate punishment. In a press release posted on social media Monday, the Tarrant County District Attorney's Office announced that 28-year-old Valerian, your parents named you Valerian, received the death penalty after being found guilty of taking the life of 26-year-old Marissa Grimes in 2022. Now, Grimes was a mother of 2 young children and went missing after she paid one final visit to Osteen before moving out of the area. Now, the former couple had a history of DV, according to the DA's office. Osteen was angry that he was being forced to wear a GPS monitor after Grimes got the police. Yeah, but Valerian is a sleeping. It'd be like calling a kid belladonna or melatonin. I mean, to each their own. Ask my kid B12. Let's see here. So he had to wear a U-Haul truck. Now, on February 12th, 2022, Grimes had packed a U-Haul truck and was paying him a last visit to say goodbye. Don't say goodbye. Just leave. Just leave. That night, the neighbor witnessed Osteen threaten Grimes with a gun, and it was the last time she was seen alive. Now, Grimes's family reported her missing, and days after she visited Osteen's home, the U-Haul containing her belongings was found abandoned. A search warrant was executed on Osteen's home, and police eventually found her body wrapped up in blankets and a tarp in the crawl space. Now, during the trial, prosecutors said Osteen dug her a shallow grave and lied above her for 10 days. Her body was found to have bruising and several broken bones, including black eyes and multiple lacerations to her head. Her hair had also been chopped off. So, yeah, this goes way beyond, above and beyond. But this is just incredibly sad for the children that are left behind. And I know it's not a popular opinion, but this has destroyed so many people. These cases never have just they have a ripple pattern. I am sure that his parents remember the baby they brought home and are grieving, what he became, what he did, and also his punishment. So not only did he have, one formal victim, he has so many victims that he, has injured with his actions. So this was just a month before, and the police had gotten involved just a month before for him holding her at force multiplier point for several days and refusing to let her leave. The police became involved. He was arrested, charged with ag assault and unlawful restraint, and was out on bond. Now, why was he out on bond? Explain this to me, because DV experts are so good at knowing this cycle. Why hasn't the justice system figured out this is a cycle? When you tick off a bully like this, he is going to retaliate. If you are in a relationship that sounds anything like this, I know it's scary. I know you feel like a shadow of yourself, but take steps, leave. You deserve to be a full person, to not have to shrink yourself, male or female. Please take that step, take some steps, be safe and get away. You deserve to have a full life where you don't have to be afraid. Now, I have no idea what this bird is, but I kind of want one, but I'm kind of terrified of birds. Not to Sheldon levels, but definitely not a big fan of birds all the time. Officials are releasing hundreds of traps in the forest to fight a detrimental threat. They are very smart. Is it ethical to take the lives of invasive predators in order to give native species a chance? Well, this has been a quandary facing wildlife experts in New Zealand, which has adopted an ambitious goal of completely eradicating invasive predators from the island nation by 2050, according to NBR. With beloved and iconic species such as the kiwi on pace to go extinct within a couple generations, New Zealanders have decided which species will survive and which species will be, eat. If we don't take action, we're killing native wildlife by omission, explained Brett Bevan, manager of the Predator Free 2050 program in New Zealand's Department of Conservation. Now, basically, stoats. Now, I don't know what a stoat is. Is that like a weasel, a predatory weasel? No pants, a skirt. I'm taking Mr. Mo out. He's been traumatized. He was cleaning up disgusting kids' bedrooms. I think stoats are like carnivore weasel things. I don't know. But they were brought over in the 1800s in hopes that they would take care of the population of rabbits. Now, the situation then kind of went out of control because the stoats bred, and obviously they are starting to go after kiwi and different things. So can you make I don't know, is there an island that needs a bunch of stoats? Well, people are pissed off. So you've got people pissed off that they're going to be taking the lives of the stoats, and then people pissed off that they're not taking them out fast enough to save the kiwi. So there you go. I thought they were interesting. I didn't know weasels were predators. Are ferrets weasels? And I know people love ferrets, but ferrets squeak me out. They do. I don't know why, they just do. They're too long. I don't know. They just squeak me out. Well, I mean, whatever kind of day you're gonna have in future, it can't be as bad as this guy's day. A man gets his head stuck in a traffic light after crashing into it, which would seem like something you wouldn't do, but as someone who walks directly into door jams, I don't have much, I don't really have a leg to stand on, I guess, because I do walk into doors, which is, well, in theory, supposed to be a, actual talent, but is not an actual talent. Let's see, a Chinese man went viral after spending almost an hour with his head stuck in a traffic light after crashing into it with an electric scooter. Was he texting at the time? I see his phone. He was texting. He was swiping left or right or whatever you're supposed to do with Tinder. I don't know. Or does China have Tinder? I don't know. A shockingly bizarre traffic accident got a lot of attention on Chinese social media last month when a young man was driving an electric scooter that crashed into a temporary traffic light in the city of Chengdu. Now, following the impact, the man's head somehow became stuck inside the traffic light, and firefighters were called to free him from the unusual cage. That was easier said than done, however, as even the first responders spent about 45 minutes cutting away the metal casing to safely release his head. The man was then taken to a local hospital where he made a full recovery, but dishonored his family. But he'll have a much tougher time recovering from the hilarious online jokes the incident inspired. This is as rare as winning the lottery, someone commented, while other people compared the man to the Green Lantern. This poor guy, he's never going to live this down. Well, just a normal day, sort of. They're on the loose. A bunch of pigs and chickens got out. Oh my gosh, bacon chasing bacon. Also, as anyone with a dog knows, you don't run after animals. You get treats and you sit still and they'll come back to you. But if you run, they think it's a game or you're a predator. Or he thought Mo was on her way because she loves bacon. Police in Washington engaged in an old-style farm roundup when multiple chickens, piglets, and pigs fled from their home and tied up traffic on a Kent area road. The Kent Police Department said on social media that officers responded to a 911 call about farm animals obstructing traffic and arrived to find several creatures running loose on the roadway. The crew began corralling them, but ran afoul when the free-range feathered friends kept evading capture. We thought the pigs might recognize the PD as friendlies and be more cooperatives, but perhaps their, collaboration, was not there, and they made a freedom run. They bonked their heads and had amnesia. The animals were successfully rounded up and safely returned to the farm. We're watching this again. This is hilarious, and we need some good fun. Some good, clean, all-American funs. This is Reno 911 levels. Oh my gosh, ABC Talk to Me, Animal Cops 911. I would pay, Reno 911. I would wear shorty shorts. I would run after, chickens and make a general fool out of myself, and people would watch it. Again, ABC, I implore you, bring back American Gladiators. I am going to be sending you guys over to Broken Baker. I believe that Aiden is back in court today, so give him some love over there. And remember, tonight at 6 p.m., I will be on my channel with Shizzy, and we are still going over the documents in the Bryan Kohberger case from the Moscow PD. Now, hopefully one day the federal, FBI documents will drop too, but right now As always, the disclaimer, Shizzy and I did not pay attention to this trial. We were waiting for it to actually go to trial. So like the pre-hearing stuff, all the conspiracy theories, we don't have a dog in that hunt. That dog won't hunt. What we are doing is, since we didn't get to hear it in the trial, we are hearing, or we are learning what the police knew and how they came upon Bryan Kohberger. So if you would like to troll and hate, as we've had every Wednesday, have fun. I'll ignore you like I do with toddlers. I swear to goodness, every Wednesday, even with the strict, like warning, hey, we don't have really any opinions about this case. We're simply reading the documents. You don't know. The secret source told you that Bryan Kohberger was not guilty. This is a government setup. Okie dokie. Have a wonderful day. Bon voyage. Anywho, it is what it is. I don't mind different opinions. Just have evidence. And then it becomes crickets. Thank you guys for dealing with my squirrely self today. Have a great day. Remember, be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Have a sassy mouth, and carry a can of bitch fire, though, because kindness doesn't equal doormat. And if you know of any mom who needs just a little bit of hilarious mom life comment or content, I did put a Musings with Mo out today that is about big family chaos, Mr. Mo becoming Mr. Clean, and, well, the trauma that it induced. So if you know a boy mom that just needs to hear someone who gets it, I'm here. Bye, you guys.